Hello everyone, and welcome to my bold and beautiful official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The revenge of Thomas Forrester is exacted. Viewers of The Bold and the Beautiful are aware that Thomas Forrester still harbors resentment toward Hope Logan. Ironically, she had no trouble donning Carter Walton's ring but was unable to commit to him. Thomas had feelings, and who could blame him? Thomas Forrester is going to exact revenge on Bold and Beautiful in this way. Read on for all the details. Spoilers ahead. When Thomas Forrester tried to persuade Hope Logan to change his mind after he had already dumped her, she shut him down. The ego of a man can only withstand so much. According to spoilers on The Bold and the Beautiful, Thomas and Paris Buckingham are meant to get engaged. However, that won't stop him from making Hope's life unpleasant whenever he can. What is the reason for Thomas Forrester's actual B&B return? In a peek for next week, Catherine Kelly Lang's character Brooke Logan receives a severe warning from Matthew Atkinson. Hints for Bold and Beautiful spoilers: Thomas returned to ensure Brooke stays out of the way, and his parents' wedding goes smoothly. Notably, Brooke is the mother of his former partner, Hope. Hope Logan has always urged her mother to follow her heart and be with Ridge Forrester, even though Brooke and Hope don't always agree. Even Ridge's own kid is aware that he needs Brooke Logan out of the way in order to marry his parents. Viewers of Bold and the Beautiful are aware that Thomas Forrester has never shown much interest in the status of his parents' relationship. Usually Steffy Forrester is in charge of that division. Is Thomas venting his anger on Hope's mother since she doesn't care about him? According to spoilers, Hope Logan will be harmed by Thomas Forrester's reappearance this week on the CBS serial Opera. Will her ex prevent her from assisting Brooke and Ridge in getting back together? Is he merely attempting to exact revenge? Thomas, I'm worried about Brooke and Katie. According to Thursday, September 4's recap of The Bold and the Beautiful B&B, Brooke Logan and Katie Logan's Thomas Forrester alarms went off. Here's how Thursday's B&B episode unfolded, because Taylor Hayes was also trying to decide on a wedding date. Eric Forrester, Brooke, Katie, and Brooke all agreed that Ridge Forrester belonged with someone at Forrester Creations. Ridge only needed to return to Brooke before it was too late. Brooke and Katie talked about Thomas returning to town after Eric left. Katie and Brooke were worried about Thomas's reaction after Ridge's engagement to Taylor ended, because there had been some discussion about his troubled history. Ridge, meanwhile, updated Taylor on the breakup between Thomas and Paris Buckingham, Diamond White. Taylor became even more motivated to cheer Thomas up and arrange a date for her wedding to Ridge as a result. Taylor informed Eric that they would soon be setting a wedding date when he showed up. In private, Eric told Ridge to break up with Taylor tonight, but Ridge pointed out that Thomas wanted his parents to get married again. Eric disapproved of Thomas pressuring Ridge because he was an adult with a son of his own, but Ridge pointed out that Eric was also doing that. Eric refused to back down and was concerned about Ridge's future if he didn't get back together with Brooke. Ridge was thoughtful as Eric reminded him to make the right choice and relish a reunion with Brooke. While he clung to the hope that his father wouldn't disappoint his family, Thomas was still obsessed with Ridge and Brooke's enduring bond. In one of the Goose houses, Taylor met Thomas and informed him that she would shortly be arranging a wedding date with Ridge. Thomas dismissed Taylor's attempt to discuss his split with Paris and focused instead on Taylor's happy ending with Ridge. Taylor put greater pressure on Ridge to choose a wedding date because he returned home later. Even though Taylor thought Ridge would remarry her, he was conflicted following Eric's most recent proposal for a Brooke reunion. Luna and Elektra declare their pregnancies double the drama. Will is in trouble. Elektra Forrester and Luna Nozawa may both end up expecting, according to spoilers and updates for The Bold and the Beautiful. Could it be that Spencer could soon be the recipient of a double baby surprise? Luna appears to believe that she is going to have Will's child based on her constant smiles and the comments she has been making. Despite the fact that the court might seize her child, it is evident that Luna believes a Spencer baby could save her from returning to prison. Naturally, this might also be Luna's strategy to win Will over or use guilt to force him into marriage. She probably hopes to start a family with Will at her side, but what if Elektra becomes pregnant as well? It's well known that birth control can occasionally fail, especially in a soap opera, despite Elektra's best efforts to be cautious and follow the right procedures. Elektra's life could be drastically changed if she becomes pregnant unexpectedly, as a result of her first encounter with Will. At this stage of his life, Will most certainly had no intention of becoming a father, but he may soon find out that he will be. Imagine what would happen if Will found out he was truly expecting twins, or at least part twins. If Elektra discovers she is pregnant at the same time as Luna, that situation appears likely. Will, Luna, and Elektra may have to deal with this startling truth, if they are all smacked with a double baby surprise that none of them saw coming. This might lead to a lot of dramatic changes on B&B. A jealous Luna might decide to set up a small accident to make sure Elektra's baby is taken out of the picture. Additionally, Luna might be planning to kill Elektra, which would seriously endanger both her and her possible unborn child. Naturally, we also have to consider the possibility that Luna may not be truly pregnant by Will, or that she may even be fabricating the pregnancy. If she ends up sleeping with Remy Price and conceives with him instead, she may easily fool Will into thinking she is carrying his child. In any case, Will is probably going to hear about some surprise pregnancies soon. Could Elektra possibly make a startling announcement that would leave Will completely in disbelief? Brooke's concerns as Eric puts pressure on Ridge to leave Taylor and pick Logan. Thomas might lose it. After explaining that he and Paris had broken up, Thomas scolded Ridge for hesitating after Luna's pregnancy test came back negative. Eric informs Brooke that while construction is underway at Forrester, everyone has left the main home. He lives in a guest house with Donna. He wants to know how Ridge is doing and why they haven't gotten back together yet. Taylor, in her opinion, is still committed to getting him to the altar. Eric is certain that Ridge would make a grave error if he married Taylor. Eric trudges off to try to reach his son once Katie arrives. Ridge should follow his heart and go back to Brooke. The sisters gripe about Taylor. It is Brooke's hope that Thomas is no longer the terrifying guy he once was. They should not forget all of the terrible things he has done, according to Katie. They go over his transgressions again, and how Thomas holds Brooke responsible for all of his father's problems. He might lose his temper. Brooke is unsure on what to anticipate. As long as he isn't blaming Taylor, she would like to get along with him and doesn't want to concentrate on him. Ridge will realize that Brooke is the love of his life. Katie is sure of it. Ridge and Taylor discuss Thomas's unexpected return at the office. He tells her that their kid and Paris are no longer together. She is unaware of that. She assumes that this increases his importance for their wedding. He needs to be with his family. In order to choose a date, Taylor needs to spend a night by herself with her fiancé. She tells about how wonderful it is to have the family together again. She can't wait for them to celebrate and dance. That's what their son needs. Taylor announces the impending wedding, and that they are deciding on a date for tonight when Eric interrupts. She's hoping for his backing. She departs without a word from him. Eric informs his son right away that he needs to terminate this tonight, and that Taylor is not the right lady for him. The news that Thomas is returning surprises Eric. Ridge claims to have seen him both well and poorly. Regarding the wedding, he is sentimental. He cannot be forcing him into marriage, according to Eric. According to Ridge, that's what he's doing. After dismissing this, Eric puts pressure on him to wed Brooke. Eric assures his kid that he understands he wants to act morally, and that he will always have both families. He must so choose wisely, and Brooke is that option. Ridge has had enough of this. He remembers his father pressuring him to confess his love for Brooke while he was fishing her out of the water. Eric keeps saying that he must pick Brooke, because he fears the consequences of making the incorrect decision. He leaves. Ridge considers Taylor while seated at the desk. Sitting by himself, Thomas gazes at pictures of his father and promises himself that he will not disappoint them. When his mother arrives, she informs him that life has been lonely without the children. She has his father, he reminds her. He is pleased to learn that they will be out on a date this evening. When they discuss the breakup of his engagement, he responds that it is what it is. Thomas wanted his mother to be unconcerned about it. Even with Brooke present, he wants to see her aspirations come true. He told his father to be a man and take charge. He is eagerly awaiting the day of their wedding. When she is left alone, she wonders about Ridge until he shows up. She gives him a glass of wine and instructs him to schedule a time so they can proceed. They share a kiss. Ridge ponders while his father's words reverberate in his mind. Thomas came back with an update on the family, which Eric John McCook learned about. He inquired about his grandson's recent health. According to Ridge, Thomas hasn't been feeling well. He lost both his job at Forrester Creations and his fiancée. He is currently at a turning point in his life. Thomas worries Ridge. He promised his son that he would do whatever it took to keep his family together. Eric took exception at this, reminding Ridge that he is a mature man with a son. Ridge stated he could make his own choices and reminded his father of the same. However, Eric believed that by continuing to be with Taylor, Ridge was making all the wrong choices. He informed his son once more that Brooke was his destiny. Ridge was ordered to end his relationship with Taylor by Eric. However, Thomas's desire for his parents to remain together made him the villain. Ridge will be completely shaken by Eric's warning in the B&B must-watch moments for September 5th. Ridge hinted that anything might occur with his remarks against Thomas. Thomas might be on the verge of going into yet another dark downward spiral. Although Ridge doesn't love Taylor as much as he loves Brooke, he still wants to keep his family together for the benefit of his son's mental health. He is currently in a difficult situation. Ridge isn't sure whether he should be with Brooke or stay with Taylor. This problem is becoming more difficult as more people are becoming involved. What would happen if Taylor and Ridge called it quits on their engagement? Is Thomas going to take a bad turn?